Oh, now, so let me ask you, Roland Rebel, how did you get into the space where you have become so unlikable in the media?
Woo!
How did
Oh
that
my
even
gosh.
start? Let's start. Okay, let me because I want to, like I said before, I want to start in the beginning. I don't want to start in the middle. I want to establish a timeline. Where did it start? Because I know we have all sorts of entertainment. We got YouTube, Instagram, and we have our start as far as the entertainment realm. So how did it start for you?
So in 2017, during the time that I was at Clark Atlanta nearing the end, 2016, 2017, when the Web Reality Space started, I was a blogger on YouTube. And I started reviewing the shows with a guy named Stonewatch Clark, and one or two other guys. And so what people don't realize is that um I had become acquainted with some of the cast of Chasing Atlanta, specifically Sky and Devon and a few others. And we were cool. People liked my outgoing personality, say it like it is or whatever. And then because originally, and people don't believe me when I say this, my I wanted to be the Imani Van Zant, the Thai couture. I wanted to be the
So you.
therapist in the
Oh, okay.
background.
Oh, okay. Oh, you wanted to counsel people.
Uh huh.
Okay, and what happened with
I didn't
that?
want to be in
Okay.
the foreground. So me having an opinion and me giving it, it was cool. It was funny. How I became unlikable was
Mhm.
because when I started turning the tides on the producers and saying, well, you're making fun of people's mental health. Because I remember I would, you know, go back and forth with Dre Simber, who actually gave me the name Rollon Rebel. So
Oh,
I
really?
turned
Oh, I didn't even know
pain.
that.
He'll never get that credit from me, but you know,
Well, you just did. You just gave it to him. You got to give it credit where credit is due. You got to give credit where credit is due.
he gave me the name Rollon Rebel in an argument. So that's that's how I turned it into my brand.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, see, you profited from it. See, there you go.
I did. So, when I started giving my unsolicited opinion at first,
Unsolicited. Okay.
then that's when things started to turn the tides. What people didn't know was that I actually auditioned for Chasing Atlanta in season 3. And they were actually going to accept me. But at the time, um, my mom was sick or whatever, and I was back and forth in between St. Louis and Atlanta, and it just did work out.
Hmm.
How the beefs between me and these people came about was because one of the producers said to me, "Well, if we can get a photo of you, a video concept of you, we'll push you right along." So I said, "Oh, okay, I'll do that."
Hmm. Hmm.
Little did I know I made a mistake. If you're not coming on dressing your best and looking the best, you're gonna get roasted. Why did I come on with my hair all over my head and
Yeah.
all of
Why
the
didn't
above?
you? Why? Yeah. You. Why didn't you look presentable? I mean, why? I mean, this is your shot.
Because at the time I'm thinking, okay, you want me to rush and get it done. Let me rush and get it done. I wasn't thinking anything of it. Looking back on it, I made a huge mistake.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that led into the beefs between me and Andario because then I started talking about you got people like Oliver Twix who we knew each other because at the time he was going to Morehouse and I was going to Clark. And so I would be like, well, I like you, we cool or whatever. This isn't the person that I know because Oliver actually got discovered from King of Reeds. King of Reeds used to come to Morehouse and then Oliver was performing or whatever. And I would be like, well, Oliver is not the person that I met that's on this show. You on here, making fun of people, and I don't appreciate this. And I'm gonna speak on it. And you're making fun of the fact that you went to Morehouse and these people are beneath you, and you're letting him get away with it on Dario. I don't like this. Change the concept. Da 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 da. Soon as I started talking about that, you're talking about our show and you're degrading our show because I'm also saying, well, chasing reality, you're making fun of. Jatwan's mental health issue, and you're making fun of the fact that he's the problem when he's not. When y'all are provoking, and then when he pops, it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So then, once again, because I say all of these things to these people, and working with this blogger at the particular time, Stonewise Clark, which he had an issue with me off of some other social media stuff, he then said, "Well, you become the problem. You are this, you are that." And so they started paying attention, and then that's how I became the enemy.
Mm. And so I'm just okay. So it started from there. You started critiquing the show, Chasing Reality, the franchise that I just put up, and so they didn't. I guess they didn't like all of the opinions that you gave. They didn't like what you had to say. So how did it trickle off? Like how did it branch off to the like so? Okay, it went from there, and so who did you beef with next? Because I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to establish a timeline. I'm
So
trying to get that snowball rolling down the hill. How did it snowball?
it was mainly Andario, and then because the saying used to go, if you don't kiss Andarios, but then you're not gonna get along. So then people started hearing from him, well, you need to watch what Rollon Rebel say, and it started from there. And so what happened then is it went from that to the other platform, G Status. Then I'll come back to Chasing Atlanta later. It went from Chasing Atlanta to G Status, and how that started because me and Tramel actually beefed first. Me and Tramel and Corday.
Mm,
We beefed off of the first. No, it was actually halfway through season 1 of G Status, because at the time, Sherrod and I were so called friends, so I thought. And I don't know whether you remember the allegation of them saying Sherrod was sick.
I think I remember that.
And I jumped in the comments with Corday and Tramel, and I said, because I was real sensitive at the time to that, because again, I was newly diagnosed. And so I said, unless you have, the paperwork to show that you can prove this, or he said it, don't say this because it's offensive to people that are HIV positive.
Right.
So that jumped into a snowball effect of me and Tramel and Corday beefing. Then it went from that to me and Dre Simber beefing, because now it's like you and I are the same person. Why do you have an issue with me? Because I'm speaking on you. And so he would call me a crackhead. He would call me dead legs. I would call him crackhead. And it went from insult to insult to insult. So now I'm beefing with him. So then after that, who was I beefing with at that point? Nobody from that franchise. How me and Sherrod started beefing was
Okay.
because there was an exchange. Sherrod asked me, because like I said, I'm a giving person. I help any and everybody that needs help. Sherrod asked me for some food. And I said, well, I'll give you that, no string attached. Let's just go to lunch. No sexual favors, because I don't know where that perception came from that I like to jump in people's inbox and say, well, let's jump in the bed. That's
Mm,
not me. I was genuinely trying to help Sherrod. And he said that never happened. And, I was delusional and all of that, which that started a beef between he and I, which,
so he's denying that he ever asked you for food or anything. Like he's denying that whole exchange.
mm-hmm,
Mm,
mm-hmm. So that started that. Then it went from me beefing with him to later beefing with Lady Monet.
mm.
I don't know whether you remember her.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Because she would say that Um, I'm talking to her boys because she was a madam or she was a pimp. She had connections to all the sex workers and trying to get me to, you know, sleep with some of these boys, telling them that I was, doing sexual things with him, using the bathroom on these people, just trying to discredit who I am.
Mm. Wow.
So that started a beef. Then there was a beef between myself and Reese G because I'm trying to remember, how did that beef between Reese G and myself start? Oh, because when Chase and Dallas started, I said, I told him about how he was biased towards people, and it started from if you remember the beef between Jatwan and Reese G in season 3, and all the back and forth with the lives between Andario and Lauren England and Q and all of them and Oliver. I was a part of that because I would say, well, Andario is going behind the scenes with one group and saying one thing, and then going to another group and saying another thing. And so Reese would get mad at me and say, well, Andario, don't invite him because he's causing problems. Because, again, I was calling these people out.
Mm-hmm.
So then that brings about a bigger target in me. So then it became a issue with who? Oh, then we get into season 2, the infamous Barry P.
Yeah. Magilla Gorilla. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what people don't realize is that, did I like Barry? Yes. I had a soft spot for Barry, was doing things for Barry, which I shouldn't have looking back on it. And again, I want to preference this. I'm not saying anything about him. We've squashed this. He's apologized. I don't know how he feels towards me, all of that. You know, I even invited him to the G Status season 2 reunion. That's how he got there. That's what people don't realize. He had beef with a whole bunch of other people, and it kind of manifested within me.
Mm.
So he got involved with like D Rashawn and things like that. God rest her soul. And they were saying, well, Barry can't sing, da 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 da. And me being the loyal person that I am, I'm defending Barry because this is my friend. This is somebody that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling him, watch who you talking to. She's a snake in the grass. Cause what people don't realize, I even mentioned to D that I had a book because she used to have a platform called the Hot Seat.
Yeah, because I'm trying to because I want to know like what because I know like every time we speak, like, even behind outside of this interview, you speak a lot about Diva Sean being a common denominator and a lot of of the beefs you had. So I'm just trying to figure out like what's the history behind you and Diva Sean. Not to speak ill of the dead, but I just want to get more context to how you and Diva Sean became such. Yeah, like how what's the history there with you and her?
She would have a platform called the Hot Seat. And so she would kind of be messy with people behind the scenes and start a lot of beef or whatever. And so I went on there to promote my book or whatever. And she was kind of challenging me, what kind of therapy do you do? And again, you know me, if you bite, if
What
you
was
poke,
what was wrong with asking that question though? What was wrong? That wasn't the one with that question.
because I had already answered the question and I felt like she was being funny and trying to play. And she said, well, they were laughing at you. And I'm like, well, I look at you as my sister. So I'm holding you accountable versus somebody that I'm friends with or not friends with. So then she started saying things behind the scenes about me. And then I saw how she would, kind of play the field between Barry and other people because people were making fun of Barry. And so I made the mistake of saying to Barry, well, you need to watch out for her because she's a snake in the grass. not realizing that he's on the phone with them, Carl included, which is her best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and they all put me on a call to confront me. Sky,
Wow.
Sky being one of those people too, because I told Sky that I said this because at the time I was close with Sky too, which is another person that I had a beef with too, because he became close to Barry as well. Um, so there was an exchange back and forth between me and D. Rashawn, and we would go back and forth, and she would talk about my legs and things and my disability or whatever. And I told her she was a trash mom and things like that. And then, me being me, looking back on things, I talked about her children, because the hurt me being who I am
Mm-hmm.
did what I did. And so
Mm-hmm.
that caused a whole wildfire because now I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. Don't do me this way. I'm getting my brothers to talk bad about you or they going to get you or whatever. And so that caused the problem. So from then on out, every time she would go on a platform, whether it be TTB, whoever, it was always, you have these pages following me, harassing me. I would even go on platforms and say, D, I'm sorry. Let's just wave the white flag. Let's just move forward. Nothing. So even when it got to the point of me and Barry arguing, because people had said that I had even said things about, Barry's kids, and then later on it came to find out that he didn't have any kids. And then people were saying, well, you still said something about his kids or whatever. He's gonna get you, and how it led up to the spitting part. So, like I said, part of why I said D. Rashawn was a part of a lot of the beefs that I had was because she would do things and then kind of hide behind the scenes that she was doing these things. Not that I wasn't willing to take accountability for what I did. It's just the fact of, if you're messing with me and disrespecting me on the fact that you hurt my feelings. Because I don't have a problem with saying, I apologize and I'm dead wrong for talking about your kids. Because I was always doing that. Because one thing I've learned about myself is that in the moment that I may be saying things, but then I realize once I calm down, you know better.
Right.
You know better. This is not within you. This is not what God will want you to do. This is not your purpose. But somehow or another, all of these individuals that I've had a beef with, including Sky Valentine, um, don't forget what I said. They want me to bow down, but they refuse to apologize to me.
Okay. And so, what is the overall, like before we get more further into it, because I know it's a lot, so I know some people in the audience, some people in the bushes. I just want to add a little bit more context. Roland Rebel, he's going into the fuse that started with him online, between himself and the cast members of the shows that he reviewed. There's web reality shows that were on YouTube. In the mid 2000s, like 2000, what, 17, 18. And
Hmm.
so, and it was kind of innovative because those were like like the first um chasing the Chase Reality franchise, as well as G Status, ATL Hustle. Those were like the first reality web reality shows that focus primarily on the LGBTQIA community. So so Tony is going over all of the people that he's interacted with through these circles, and through him reviewing this show, and his opinion and perspective on these shows, and some of the critiques about the people that was starring in these particular shows, and how it trickled down. So I just want to kind of give some of the people some context, because they be like, "Who the heck is he talking about? Oh, where's all this coming from?" So I just want to kind of add a little bit of context to what he's talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
And so so all right, so we was going into the whole spitting incident.
So how that came about was um later in 2021, I became acquaintances, because I wouldn't say friends, with Hershey Kids TV and um T Spiller. I hate mentioning his name. Um and the infamous Trey Sorrell. So during that particular time, we had all gathered because this was during one of the times that I wasn't in Atlanta. I was in St. Louis, but I was here at that time for Gay Pride. So what led to that argument between Barry and I was we were all preparing to meet up for Pride that weekend. Myself, Hershey Kissy, BT Spiller, and another young lady that were all cool. So T Spiller had a friend in which Barry was cool with. And so he and I had an exchange of words or whatever a couple of days before leading up to the Pride festivities, you know. And I kept telling T Swiller, you check your friend. I don't have an issue with him, but he wants to have an issue with me. You're always running your mouth. You always saying things. You always being a slick mouth or whatever. And I'm like, well, whatever your issue is, let's address it. So we're all in the park together, and he's like saying things to me like, "You can get beat up tonight. You can get beat up tonight." Just screaming and hollering, and I'm just trying to, you know, get away from the issue.
Hmm.
So how I was set up that particular night or that particular day was I met them at the park, which goes into another beef, which I'll talk about later. I met them at the park, um, and they said, "Well, we want to go to Henry's, which is no longer rest in peace to Henry's. Let's meet up at the restaurant, and so that we can all go to the park. We can walk down to the park." So I get into the park. We going back and forth or whatever. And as we're going back and forth, I said, "Well, I'm gonna maneuver around the park. I'll see you later." In between me saying I'm gonna maneuver around the park, I'll see you later, somehow or another, Barry gets called. And so we have an argument, we have an exchange. Jack Daniels is being thrown on me, and he
Wow.
gets down in my face, like right here in my face, and spits.
Mm.
And so then at that point, I get into a state of shock saying, "He spit on me, he spit on me, he spit on me." That's the next time you talk about my kids, and it became a thing, and it became an issue because then D. Rashawn now goes on to TTB and is laughing and joking about it. So I'm providing receipts about how he's done all this to me, and so that
Did you press
further
charges?
I attempted to, but I never had the proper information because the numbers that he gave me weren't valid numbers. So I attempted to, but I don't know how far that went.
Mm. Hmm.
So, then it became a thing of people making fake pages of me saying I'm saying things to people when I'm not there. Because at that point, I kind of backed off because I was embarrassed because of what happened.
Right.
I'm like, but you getting into all these fights with people, K Star, Carl, which that's another beef that will never go away. Me and Carl don't
Yes.
get along
Yeah, because I
to
want to
this
get into that too. Yeah.
to this day. Um, it's yeah, it's that was a wild time.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, how, I'm still trying to figure out, like, why didn't you follow up with pressing charges? Because, I mean, that is just disgusting. So, I mean, I know you made up now, but still, just going looking back at it, why didn't you follow up
Because
with that?
I didn't have the proper information because they were saying, well, we don't have any Barry Pendleton. We don't have this. So gave them the information that I had. And they were like, well, there has to be a police report with an incident. Nobody called the police when that happened, so it wasn't really anything that I could do.
Mm. And so, excuse me, and you mentioned from there, D. Rashawn was on, TTB Network is another, he's a content creator. He has his own channel as well. He does, he does different content. He talks about the web reality world as well as celebrity topics. So that's and TTB does tend to have a lot of these live panel discussions with different cast members or different people, and they sometimes have they hash out things. Sometimes they have all out you know session, all out session, and just kind of going back and forth and addressing whatever it is they need to address, or dragging each other, roasting and gagging each other on that platform as well. So you're saying that you were being laughed at, you're being made fun of because of that incident, and so what happened from there?
So me and TTB became enemies because of that.
Mm-mm.
We, well, it was a multitude of things. That and he became cool with Andario. Again, it's going back to the Andario feels some type of way, then that means something. So TTB and I became enemies because it's like you sitting up here laughing with these people about what happened, but you got a bad heart and they're making fun of you about this. And so it's like, why are we supposed to care? And
Mm-mm.
so because again, here and I've literally been told by a lot of these people, it's not what I say, it's what I represent to them. How are you, a person in a wheelchair with all this mouth, and saying stuff to me like that? That's what's offensive to me. And I was even told this by D. Rashawn and Carl and all these other people. But yet you've had access to me and reached to me that you want to do all these things to me and haven't done it. What have I done to you so much that you want to do these things? If I've apologized to you and you don't want to accept it, that's on you. That's not on me.
Mm-hmm. But I think, and I think we talked about this as well, that a lot of the issues that a lot of the people have that you beef with is that you apologize, but it's your behavior don't change. You apologize, and then you're good for a hot minute, and then you right back into the beefs again, which we're gonna go, dive more into. So it's like, why are you continuing to you claim to take ownership, you claim to own it, you claim that you own your part in these, but then your behavior hasn't changed.
I can see that.
Hmm.
I can see that. I can yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So what do you say to that? I mean, what do you say now, like just given what we spoke about so far?
Um, I'll say this, that I'm a work in progress, just like everybody else. Give me a chance to get it right before you put me down. Um, hold me accountable, sure, but don't not give me a chance without hearing the other side. Because one thing about it, and two things for sure, I'm not just saying things for color commentary. I'm also being disrespected as well.
Hmm.
And
Right.
again, I can't I can't not take accountability, but I just want people to understand, if you want respect, you got to give it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'll stand on that. I don't mind, helping others and being there for others, but if you don't respect me, leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. You awake the bear, then you'll get the consequences. Not saying that nuck if you buck, I'm down for whatever. It's just that I don't want to be that person. And I don't want you to feel like every time I'm in a space with you, there's going to be an argument.
Right.
I
Yeah,
want
'cause
you
that
to.
could be draining. That could be draining this much. So going back to the timeline, you had issue because TTP was on his platform. He's making fun of your incident with Barry with McGilla Gorilla, and you know, and so he and Diva Shawn was making fun of it. And I know like you've been back and forth on that panel a few times. So what was the next set of beefs? When what? So what so went from that point, and then what else? Like what was the next beef up? What was the
It
next step?
went from that platform to on the way up Atlanta.
All the way up, okay. All the way up in Nana.
Um, because I started beefing with Bando Kane, who is on the new show,
It
The Scene or
seems.
whatever.
Hmm.
And the funny thing about that is that Bando is kind of like me. And what people don't understand is that Bando is a lot, but he's a sweetheart. And how we became to beef was, I don't know actually, because I've never really disrespected Brandon. So I that's a beef that I can't really tell
How did
you.
it start? I mean, it came from somewhere.
Again, it came from, I think, him wanting to be in the in crowd with other people, because one of the things that I told Brandon before we, when he was on the other show, I'm gonna always tell you the truth, but I'm always gonna respect you and hear your side of the story. I think when he became cool with T Spiller and TTB and all these other people, then it became, oh, you don't respect me either.
Mm. Why would you? I mean, so is that what he said out his mouth? Do those words come out his mouth?
I've literally asked him, as you can see on when we were promoting this, you know, interview, we had a back and forth beef on the post. I've literally
You did
asked him,
on the
uh-huh,
on the post, really?
uh, we
Oh, I
had
didn't know
we
that.
had, we had a back and forth exchange on the post, and he's like, well, um, gone somewhere shitty booty. Nobody's gonna really pay attention to you in that interview. Tell us when you got really something going on, because like I said, I told you the comment that I made was the scene ATL, some of the cast members are
Mm,
trash.
right. Hmm.
And I understand the context behind that, but I was talking about specific people.
But yeah, but that's not what you said. You said the cast members. You didn't say specific people. You got to move your
But,
finger, Roland. You got to move your finger.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Um,
You have like a tripod or something, or it's like something you can
Yeah,
like lean the
it's
phone on.
falling. It's falling. That's why that I had my finger. Um, so I said the cast because I didn't want to say no names, but they know who they were.
Yeah, no, no, but that's what I'm saying. But you made a general statement towards the cast, and that's why. And let me ask you, because I'm going to kind of go like, what transpired between you and Scotty by nature? Like, how did that happen? I mean, that's weird. Yeah,
um,
I'm still here, Tony. Mm.
I well, I do know the answer to that.
Do pray tell.
Um, Scotty is cool with the Justice League, and I remember because me and YB actually had this beef as well, because I made a statement about their biases towards cast members on when they had the Justice League, because I would give my opinion too, because they would invite me on the cast on the platform of that. And they were talking about King Kane, somebody who was a member of Chasing Dallas the platform. And they were talking about how dirty he is, how this and that. And if I like somebody and I feel like they cool, you're not gonna disrespect them in my presence. So when it came to that, I remember going back and forth with YB and Evie reviews and you know really being all of them, and they got mad
God,
about,
them too. My
yeah,
goodness.
and they
Okay.
and they got mad about that, and so Scotty didn't like me because of that, and then we had an exchange at the G Status season 2 reunion. He says I ran him over or whatever, what have you. And again, like I said numerous of times, I don't have an issue with him. I actually like him. We have a lot of things in common. We are similar people. It's I really feel like it's just because of my proximity to who he's cool with.
That's what you think. But so you're saying that he accused you of wait, I'm sorry. What was it that he said that you ran him over? Like, oh, you accused him of saying that you ran him over. What was that? I'm sorry.
He said that I accused him. I ran him over or something to that effect at the
Mm,
at the G Status season 2 reunion. But
okay.
I really feel like a lot of it, if my memory serves me correctly, a lot of the beef came from, you know, my connection or my argument with L Teddy and really be and Ebby reviews and all of them.
And why was you arguing with them?
Again, because of my opinion about what they said about another Chasing Dallas cast member,
Okay.
because I disagreed with them.
Okay. Because I do remember Scotty addressing you on TTB's platform, and he, as I remember, he addressed you and saying that, did you not say that, that I, accused that he was addressing the fact um, that you accused, like he accused you of running him over or something like that. But he was just denying it. He was denying that he accused you of running him over. That's what it was. He denied that he accused you of running you over. And then I remember you saying that you never said that, but now you're saying that you did. You're saying that that was said.
That I'm saying that's was the argument.
Okay.
If I did, I don't remember. It was a lot of stuff going on at that reunion. I don't remember what was
Right.
what.
And so, going back to Ebby reviews, El Teddy and Really B, um, you saying that they had beef with you because you had an opinion about someone from which person that they,
Uh,
they was.
um, King came from Chasing Dallas
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
because
just trying to keep track.
he actually addressed this on Harvin's platform a little while ago, like
Hmm.
maybe a month or so ago, only for him to say that he's rooting for me, that I have a big personality. I could have had a platform by now, but I'm being lazy. And if that's what it is, then that's what you agree with. And I actually agree with you. But if that's not what it is, and that's your real issue with me, then say that. I don't
Hmm.
mind talking to you about it. But you saying, "Well, I'll never like you. You're the spawn of the earth." Why do you want me to respect you?
Wow. Okay. So it went from that, the back and forth with Scotty, Willie B, El Teddy, Ebby reviews over your opinion about some people from the Chasing Dallas series, and then so now what's the next beef? Where did it go from there?
Going back to the On the Way Up Atlanta platform,
Okay.
um, there was a few people. I actually beef with, I don't know whether you know who this person is, Phil the Prince. And then I
Mm,
actually beef with there's a singer by the name of Page Marie or Page. So
I never heard of them.
the beefs between me and those people was because Phil and I have been cool for years. We've been in circles together. He's seen me in public. We've actually hung out. Um, our beef stemmed from another cast member on that platform, Trey Morris, which I actually beef with too because
Wow.
of some other stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I think that's also the reason that me and Bando came because I was beefing with his friend. But like I said, like we had discussed behind the scenes, your beef with me or your beef with my friend has nothing to do with me. So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm showing you who I am authentically, then what's the issue? So how it goes to my beef with this lady Page Marie was because on one of these shows, like I said, I used to review these shows all the time, go up on lives or whatever. And so there was a discussion about this particular person, Trey Morris, being bisexual or whatever. And I'm
Hmm.
like, why are you, as a viewer, as a cisgender woman, why are you saying something to a man about their sexuality? It's offensive. You shouldn't do that. She got defensive and started cussing me out. I'm gonna get my man to beat your ass and all these things. And I have all the receipts. So then she starts talking about my disability and all these things. So then, you know, I go for the jugular and what I said.
What did you
Yeah.
say?
You're talking about my disability. Let's talk about you as a mother and you and your child.
Mhm.
So now it's, oh, I'm gonna whoop your ass because you talking about my child. But no, you disrespected me when I'm just coming to you as a viewer, and I've said to you, I like you as a viewer, as a viewer, and I like you as a singer. But as a gay man, whether something happened that we didn't see, this is something that you shouldn't do. It's offensive. So we beef from that.
Mm,
Since then, I've still apologized. Nothing. I've even beefed with the producer of that show, saying that he's too emotional to be, you know, a part of the cast because he was a part of the cast at the time, and he was like, "Well, I don't want you on my platform. I don't want you nowhere near it or whatever." Even though I would still support it,
right.
you know, but people have issues with me. So then it went from that to me then now beefing with this person that I'm defending, Trey Morris. And that got deeper because when it came time for me to promote my book, I reached out to designers that he had already um, used. And because he had already used these designers and he had screwed them over, the designer that he got to design his clothes screwed me over and stole money from me because of him. So that's why we're beefing.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
And I was also defending my then friend, DJ the Singer, which is another beef now.
Oh yes, let's talk about it because I know that you know this is saying this out of all of the beasts that you mentioned, you said this one hurt the most. So I want to get more into that.
hmm So now, okay. So DJ and I have been friends for 2 years now. Two, well, we're no longer friends. But before that, I've known DJ for about 10 years. I met him in 2015. We ran in the same circles together. DJ and I experienced a lot together. He was somebody that I, really looked up to and cared for. Um, Part of the reason, and I'm taking accountability for it now, part of the reason that we're into it now is because he says that he doesn't agree with some of the things that I said to the Paget Marie girl, that I said to Danita, that I said to all of these people, which is fine. I can take that. But my issue with this person has been, like I said, the theme of who I am is when I love you as a person, I love you as a person. I felt that DJ did not respect me because he was always, you know, checking me on what I did, but never how I felt. But you're always, following behind people that have wronged me. So, and this, and I'm trying to be mindful of my words. I don't want to. I did things for DJ that I wouldn't normally do for anybody. When even in the time that you were, you know, down on your luck and needed a friend, I was there. I was the friend that you can call on in the middle of the night when you were at your lowest. I was just the friend. I'm me. You take away the persona, just me. I shown him, all the personal stuff. I really gave him a chance to get to know me. Um, he says that the reason that we are not cool was because he was going through his own things. Part of the things that really upset me was the night that I moved back to Atlanta. When I came back this final time, he had a show, and despite my challenges with, being in a chair and all that, I'm front row and center and supporting my friend. You need me to be there, I'm gonna be there. Since that point, that person was never there for me. And I kept saying, well, I need you to be here for me. I need you to be here for me. Well, when I get myself together, I'll be there for you. Well, you don't have any furniture in your apartment. We can't sit on the floor. Um, I want to take you out to lunch. Well, I don't have time. I'm hurting myself, but you can't support me, but I'm supporting you. There have been times where, you know, he's been friends with people that have talked bad about him, but and they won't admit that they talk bad about him, but then yet you're still talking. Lying on me, talking to people about how I'm paying people for sex and not getting the things that I deserve because I'm paying for it. Who says that to somebody that they love and care about?
So you saying that the friendship was mainly one sided, like you feel like you put more effort into it than he did at the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So now, so when was the last time y'all spoke? I mean, did y'all ever have the conversation, or one to one?
So the last time we had the conversation was I don't we didn't mention this earlier in the interview, but I was on Trace Ross platform and I met two or three other individuals that was on this platform with me. And so one night we had decided that we were going to repair our friendship because I called him on the phone because I said some things to him that I shouldn't have said, and I apologize. We went blow for blow about health reads and things like that. And so
Mm,
we decided that we were going to repair our friendship. You know, even when he, you know, became a background singer for Kelly Price, I was there.
mm,
You know, so he, I'm trying to remember. So he told me, well, I want to tell you something, but I don't want you to say anything. So one of your podcast mates had been hooking up with me or trying to hit me up on the side to engage with me. So I didn't say anything. Um, I let it play out because of me having this infamous persona. He thought that let me get on it before he decides to use it on Mad Day and tell on me. So he decides to reveal that to the person that he was talking about. And it started a whole trifecta of things.
mm. So
And
now, yeah, Tony, you got to move your hand, move your finger.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. You got to find, is there a way you can find like a more steady place that you can stand it up on your phone?
Okay, we good now. You got it.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Now I was gonna ask, like, so if you had the opportunity, like, if you was able to be like face to face, or like, or if he's, even watching from the bushes or watching the replay right now, um, what would you really from the heart want to say to DJ?
Nothing.
Mm.
Because you showed me how you felt. And I'm trying not to cry. Um I feel like I always have to kiss butt to make things right.
Like you have to make the first move.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I don't want to do that. So it's like I know what he's upset with me about. I know what a lot of these people are upset with me about. But again, this is not just me.
Hmm,
This is, you got to address the hurt that comes along with me as well.
got it. I mean, so if you had the opportunity, I mean, would you, if it presented itself to where you're able to um make your feelings known and yeah, have that conversation with no interruptions, I mean, would you be open to that?
I think because, truth be told, I think because he's so cool with these individuals, and I hate that the web reality space is like this. If you're cool with said individual and they know you have a relationship with somebody you don't like or they don't want you to be involved. So I think if those people weren't in the way, then there's a chance to have the said conversation. But because they are, it's not.
Hmm. So now, is there anybody else? Because this is your moment. Like this is your opportunity. Just like you said before, you wanted to address everything. You wanted to let it all out once and for all. You wanted to clear the air, clear your name. So, is there anybody else you need to address that you have beef with? Because we don't want to miss anybody if we can help it. Like we would try to
Um,
avoid it.
Carl,
Right, right.
let me be very, very candid.
Okay.
I will never like you. You will never like me. Leave me alone.
What do you do to you? How's he? But
So the reason that I made the statement that I made, that these people are trash and tragic, there was a time last year, within the time that I had moved and was in my new apartment, that he got on live one night and drunk and started talking shit about me, saying that he would slap me and all these. And again, I'm quiet. Now, if I'm quiet and I'm not saying anything, then why are you speaking?
mm,
So now, my I don't like this is warranted because you still have an issue with me. So it's like, is it because of the D thing? She's not here.
mhm,
But what is your issue? You haven't said, and it's the side people. It's the Nikki Coco me's. And again, they're all affiliated with D. But I want them to just realize D wasn't as innocent either.
right. You gotta hold your camera still, and you're pointing it to that thing on your nightstand. So I don't want any the audience to keep seeing that either. It's kind of private.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
Sorry about that.
mhm.
I don't want that to kind of be the the end all be all. Like, I understand you want me to take accountability, but what can I do at this point?
Mm-mm.
I can't continue. Sorry about that. I can't continue to keep having to take accountability. Oh, I can't continue to keep having to take accountability.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know where he went. He disappeared. He'll be back. So once he comes back up, I'll bring him back up. But I know this is a lot for you guys, and I appreciate those bearing with us, those who are coming in or going out, those in the bushes, those still in the chat. Shout out to those who came through, and I'm hoping that you receive something from this interview, like coming, given Tony's background. But right now, he wanted to use this platform as an opportunity to address all of the beefs, all of the feuds, and kind of a sense of atonement. But here, he's back. You
Sorry
know,
about that.
so
My
mhm,
signal kind of faded. I can't keep taking accountability for something that you guys just refuse to do. And it kind of feels like now, wherever I go, it feels like people are scared to approach me because I'm infamous with problems, whether it's with sex workers or just people in general, not realizing that I have a story to tell too about how people have done me. But I choose to keep it quiet because I don't want to, make a bigger issue than what it already is.
Hmm.
Unless they bring it out.
Got you.
The
So it's
other the other thing that I want to mention too is Andario, because we kind of talked about him in the beginning.
right.
I'm grateful for the opportunities that he has given me, but I want him to understand my whole goal in this was to not bash your platform. My goal was that, okay, if you're going to be messy, be fair on all ends. Because until it's you that's being made fun of, you don't know what it feels like. Maybe the message that I was trying to present came out in the wrong way, but I meant it with good intentions.
Okay, and that's what you want to say to Ondario if he was to watch.
hmm
Okay. Okay.
Um, to and I want to give a shout out to Tremel
Okay. Okay.
because this is how you know that some people have hearts and some people are willing to give you second chances. Because I remember when he did an interview with Imani Van Zap
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he gave me a shout out saying that it wasn't until I said something to him about how he had hurt other people and how the perception of how things look on TV, um, how people perceive him, made him have a different perception of me. That's what made me want to rebuild the relationship with Tramel because he actually did see me and he actually did give me a chance to show who I was.
Okay.
I don't expect that from everybody, but at least try.
Noted. Duly noted. Now, anybody else? I know we because we I know that you have with YB and then there was a couple of others. I believe I can't remember, but what happened with between you and YB?
Um, that's that's in reference to me mentioning that about the interview about a Chasing Dallas cast member and me speaking on that and him not liking my opinion about it, telling the Justice League that they were biased towards certain people that they
Mhm.
liked.
Oh, okay. And
Oh, one person that I didn't mention was Sky Valentine.
mhm.
That was another one that hurt me too because um he was one of the ones that kind of gave me the courage to, say what I wanted to say and be the person that I wanted to be. We were similar in age, so he was kind of somebody I related to, no nonsense, all of that. So, how all of that changed.
okay. I think he was mentioning about his signal going in and out. But again, I wanted to I was saying before he came up the last time that he's just making an effort to atone or just address those who he was in conflict with. So that's what we're doing right now. So now he's on Sky Valentine.
Yeah, my signal keeps going out. So, how that transpired was because when he became cool with Barry, Sky was one of the people I can say to this day that said, you shouldn't have said that about D, or you should have said that to her and not said it behind her back.
Hmm.
And so I knew that then, but again, my philosophy has been if you messing with somebody that I hold near and dear, none of that matters. I'm kind of doing similar things that they did looking back,
Mm-hmm.
kind of only caring about those that I care about. So I can see, in a sense, I can see why they feel the way they do. Because it's,
Right.
I'm sticking up for the people that I care about, you sticking up for the people you care about, and that's what it is. We're a stalemate. Um, I even was, you know, there for him when he, you know, was going through taking care of his grandmother, when he had Bell's palsy, things like that.
Mm,
Me being in the back, and I don't want to take credit for that because that's who I am.
mm,
That's just the person I am. If I deem you as somebody that's important, I'm going to look after you regardless. He was then telling people that I was stalking him, just using him to get on the platform, things like that. Um, we had an exchange back and forth because of the Barry thing and the Danita thing. And then he said that I said some things about his now deceased grandmother. Even though at the time, while he was taking care of her, I was giving him resources on how to deal with that because I deal with those things by, again, advocacy. But again,
right.
because
Right.
you don't respect me, none of that matters. They can paint the picture of however they want it to be. And so I know you probably are wondering, have I tried to make amends with them? Yeah, but it's at this point, things have kind of fizzled out. They probably wouldn't even want to. Now, when the beef between him and Barry kind of came to a head, he kind of said that he felt sorry for me, but there was never no apology.
So, anyone else?
Um,
Because I don't want to, we don't want to miss. Not if we can help it. We don't want to miss anyone because, because I want to be able to give you the opportunity, like I said, to clear the air and just start anew. And the purpose of starting anew, the purpose of wiping the slate clean, is to kind of heal
I
those
want
wounds. Address, you know,
I
those
want to
past.
address everybody that I've had a beef with,
Okay.
and this is a general thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people have probably heard me several many times, but I am in a different space in my life. Um, I've had a lot of wins and I've had a lot of losses. The person that I was 10 years ago, I am not the same person. So if you choose to give me a chance, that's fine. If you don't, I will leave you be. However, everybody deserves a second chance, including you. But if you feel that I have hurt you in any way, shape, or form, I am sincerely apologized from the bottom of my heart. Because one thing I learned from the passing of my brother, you will never know when it's time. I've been through so much that I know what it feels like to hurt. And I was hurting. And I know a lot of them are hurting too. And so me getting behind the skies and the divines and the charades and the, Tremels, because I saw myself in these people. And so I would say to them, because this is how I grew up, that if you're not strong enough to be on reality TV, then don't be on reality TV. But I can't tell you to what your journey is. I only see what I see as a viewer. And as a viewer, I saw parts of myself in them. So that's why I go so hard. Because if I didn't, then I wouldn't say anything. But I see now that that hurts them. And like I said, I sincerely apologize.
And I can respect that. And like you said, even if there's some people that may receive it, there's some people that may not. Also, people may just kind of meet you where you are right now at this place, or they might decide to move on, and that's okay because not everyone, we're not meant to. You can't force a relationship with people. You can't force a friendship on them. The only thing you can do is continue to work on yourself. So I just want to ask you, Tony. Now, once you've made this you're starting this new journey for yourself, and what happens the next time you are in a situation where you feel the conflict coming, or there's someone out there that's trying to provoke you, or how would you address it, like moving forward? How would you handle it moving forward? how
Uh,
how would you handle the conflict, if there is any? How would you handle it moving forward?
one thing I've always done, and I don't think it's ever been looked at in that way. I inbox that person so that we can have a one-on-one conversation. I think how it goes left is me confronting them because now there's the perception of now he's jumping in inboxes. So I'll address how I feel, um, give them the opportunity to say whatever they need to say. If they don't agree with it, let it be.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
can,
because not all battles need to be fought. You have to know how to pick your battles wise, and I think we talked about that many times before. You got to know how to pick your battles, and knowing that if you're starting anew and you're atoning for whatever it is your responsibility to learn how to, not just how to project certain things, but know how to respond to it. It's about your reactions. It's about how you react, but you have to be more proactive. So that's why I asked you, moving forward, how would you handle, like, if you see that there's someone is trying to provoke you or trying to ignite something, how would you handle it? You
and
know.
I think looking back on things, the hurt me is the one that's responding.
Mm.
So I'm responding because I'm hurt.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it's learning to, like I tell my patient, what what hurts you to make you respond in that way. So I have to look within to say, okay, this comment hurt me, so that's what's making the feeling feel what it feels like.
Got it. Alrighty. So, do you feel at this point, do you feel like you were able to get everything out in the open at this point? Do you feel like you've addressed everything? How do you feel at this moment? Do you feel more relieved? Do you feel like you released?
I mean, we would be here all night if I talked about everybody.
Mhm.
Um,
It's a start.
but I feel like I've said my piece.
Okay. Are you at peace with that?
No, but I will make do.
Okay. Mm.
And the reason that I said no is because my heart says I want to be at peace with everybody. I want people to see the happy go lucky me. I want people to see, the fun loving person that I am. But then I also have to realize not everybody's supposed to see that. So just accepting where I am.
Okay. And exactly. And I think that you have to accept that, like I said, moving forward, there's some people that's going to be in alignment with you on your journey, and some people are not. And you have to be okay with that. So